Hello everyone, and welcome to Paper Pleats and Ribbon Roses. Today I have another flower to show you. I started doing the Heart to Heart challenges, which is a Close to My Heart challenge blog, and this week's challenge was to share a technique. And so I just happened to be working on a new flower, so I thought this would be a great technique to show you today. And what I've created are these paper, they remind me of little button carnations. I'm not sure if you can see them very well there. That's what we're going to do, and they're actually quite simple, easy to make, and they don't require a lot of equipment. You basically need your paper, glue or adhesive, and ink if you're going to ink it, and your scissors. So we'll get started. And this is an awesome little flower to make because I don't know about you, but I have a lot of little strips of paper scraps that I have been carrying around. So this makes use of those. So to create this flower, you use a 1-inch strip of paper. This is from the Hooligans paper pack. And you start out, the length of it, I'm using a 10-inch piece of 1-inch paper. As I go along and show you how to make this flower, you'll see that the length of the piece determines the size of the flower, the overall width of the flower. So the shorter the piece, obviously the smaller the flower you make, and I'll point that out to you later. So the first thing you're going to do is lay it flat, and I'm just going to use my Tombow, and I'm going to run a very, very narrow strip of Tombow down one edge of this. So I'm doing it on my mat, so the excess Tombow can be just washed off, and I won't be sticking to a piece of paper. I hope this black background is all right for you. I usually do it on blue. Anyway, so I've just put a really narrow strip of Tombow. I did try using a liquid glue to do this, and I didn't really like the results. So what you're going to do next is you're just going to fold this in half. The color of obviously the color that you want your flower to be is on the outside, and you fold out the inside in. Don't fold it completely flat. If you see here, in some spots it's going to be flatter than others, but you don't want a knife edge here. It could be done that way. The very first one that I did, I folded it. I actually used my bone folder to make a nice sharp edge. And then I realized afterwards that that wasn't really what I wanted. Again, it's not that critical. Now here I'm trying to fold this without mucking it up. So anyway, I find that if you go a little further down and start to fold it up, the middle sections will fold a little easier. Okay, so you're just going to fold that together like that. All right, and leaving the folded edge not too tight or not too creased. And now at this point, if you want, you can add some color to the edge. And I'm just using, this is actually Hydrangea, which is a discontinued color, but I had my nice ink pad here. I thought I'd use it, and it's a nice bright purple. So just using the direct to paper technique, I'm adding some color to the edge, and the folded edge is actually the tips of the petals on your flower. Probably one side is sufficient, but I'm going to ink up both here. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can just, however much or little ink that you want. All right, so close that up. Let that dry a little bit. So then the next step is simply cutting all the way across from one end to the other, and you're cutting at the folded end, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to cut about 16-inch little strips, and you want to stay about 1/8 of an inch or slightly less from the end. So you're just going to keep snipping. Again, if you're a little bit off, a little further on some, you just don't want to cut all the way through, because then your flower is going to fall apart. So just keep trimming little snips, about 1/16 of an inch wide. You can go a little wider if you want. It just means your petals will be wider. I just suggest taking a lot of scraps and playing around with it. Okay, so I've done one of these already. As you can see, I've cut all the little petal strips all the way across. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a glue. This is a two-way bonding glue that we sell at Close to My Heart. This is two-way glue as well. It's just a finer tip. It's a more like a pen tip. And actually, I find this one works really well for this. So what you'll do now is you're going to start putting some very fine amount of glue on the edge away from the fold, and then you're going to start to roll this up. Just like that. All right. Once you get past the initial part, I'll show you in a second. Then once you get it started rolling, what you'll want to do when you roll is keep your thumb on the bottom and your finger on the top as you roll it, and that prevents you from rolling it crooked and from the inside part from popping up. Okay, so I'm just going to keep applying glue. I usually do about 3 or 4 inches of glue. The nice thing about two-way glue is that even if it starts to dry, it still sticks. So if you're using a glue that dries really quickly and doesn't stick once it's dry, then you're going to have to work really fast. So I'll just finish this up. We'll see if I can keep this. This is a fairly simple flower. Hopefully I can keep it within my 15 minutes. I have a tendency to talk too much, I think. Okay, I'll go a little faster here, because I wanted to show you some of the different ones that I made. I hope you can see this. So you just keep rolling till you got to the very end. And just hold that down till it sticks. If you find that when you open up your petals that this last little bit wants to keep opening up, you can put some liquid glass on it, and that'll hold it. So this is what you have. You see how nicely tightly it's rolled, and that's what we're going to make our flower. So the next part is you just start to bend these petals down, a few at a time, and your flower will start to emerge. Now what I do want to show you is, okay, so this was a 1-inch wide strip. This is a 10-inch long piece. Okay, and there is your flower. I just want to show you on this card, this flower here was 1 inch wide, but I think it was an 8-inch long piece. So you can see it's I haven't opened this up. No, it must have been a 10-inch. It's the same size. So it would have been a 10-inch. This one over here was a 7-inch long piece, 7 or 8 inches. And this little flower here, I actually cut the strip at 3/4 of an inch wide, and I believe this was about 6 inches long. So if you want to make varying sizes of flowers, you adjust the width, which is kind of hard. I mean, you can go down to 3/4. I like the inch. I have a sample here of a 1 1/4 inch wide piece that I started with. To make them larger, you should just make the piece longer. So you can go from 6 inches to 12 inches. This little one here, I made out of a 6-inch piece. So you may not want to go quite as small as that because you see it's quite open. There aren't as many petals. I also wanted to show this one to you. I'm going to put it on white cardstock. Because you see, this is the same paper, but I inked this edges, the tips of this one, I didn't ink this one. So that's where you're going to see a difference in some of your flowers, is whether you ink them or not. I have a few more samples that I just want to show you. This is with this patterned paper here, so you can see, and I didn't ink it, so that's very pretty. Another one that I did was the bright yellow. I inked this one in red. In tulip, so that you could see the tips in tulip. Here's one that I made out of a 1 1/4 inch strip, wide strip. So you can see just by a 1/4 inch difference in the width of the strip, you're going to get a much bigger flower. I'm not sure if I'd go any bigger than this. But of course it depends on what your project is. So this was, I wanted to see what a striped one would look like. So this is a Silhouette Creative Basics paper from a long time ago, and I thought that was kind of pretty. Quickly here, this is from Perfect Day, a nice tulip one. And if you want to see what a really bold print. So this is an old print from a while ago, Oopsie Daisy, and you see all the different colors in the petals. Now just one more quick thing. Here's one that I did, and you can insert a brad into it if you want, and that makes it a little bit flatter, and it just gives you a different look. So that's it for today. I hope I haven't gone over my time. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have fun making some of these flowers.